This is Worldwide Flava Network. Coast to coast and worldwide.
This show is being sponsored by Worldwide Flavor Network. If you are looking to have your own radio show, come and join us here on WWFN Online Radio. Contact us via our website, www.worldwideflavornetwork.com.
Hey, you guys, this is Anika from Anika Tells All.
Tune in every Thursday from 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Okay.
Worldwide Flavor Network. See you then.
You know I'm watching you. Over there in the corner with your little friends. Watching me watch you. But dig this here. Why don't we settle in for the night and do a little something else? Maybe wait. All night long, I've been waiting patiently until I get so good. We've been flirting kinda heavy, so the urge is strong. Ooh, and we can dim the lights and do everything you like. This is what I got in mind. Oh, let's get sexy, yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh, you don't have to be uptight. No. We can do just what you like. We can do what you like, girl. Let's get sexy, sexy. Girl, I'm trying to make you see, baby, you're right where you need to be. Listen, girl, I got a feeling this could be a long night. Just the same feeling that you're gonna fight. No, I'll give my all to you over and over. Yeah. Baby, come closer. I'm trying to show you. Let's get sexy. You don't have to be uptight. You don't have to be uptight. We can do anything you like. Oh, and I'm trying to make you see. Trying to make you see, baby. Yeah. So what's the deal? Can we turn and for the night? I know that I can do it good, baby. I know I'll be right. Don't shut me out, no baby, don't you walk away. I'll turn you out till the night
Hey, you guys, this is Anika Worldwide Flavor Network Tells All. I have my co-host.
Hey, what up? It's Otis.
We're going to be talking about real life relationships and how do you keep the person in the relationship and what makes things work. Otis, what is your suggestion of keeping things going and making things happy? We'll say.
I think that to keep things going, you have to stay in the dating phase. Even when you are established, no matter where you are, you have to continue to date. You have to continue to pursue each other. It's not a one-way street. One person can't get lazy and then the other person, like, it's a two-way thing. And it's always a growing process. Two people always are continuously growing, and sometimes they grow apart, sometimes they grow together, but more often than not they grow together. What about you? What do you think?
I think it's best to keep it like, why did you start caring about that person? Like the romantic phase, the flowers, the following home, the paying attention to that person, giving that person your time, your commitment, patience. I think that's a very important thing.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the I heard I heard an older person say new love becomes old love. And it's a different platform, but the thing is, if you can keep, and I've seen elderly couples where they'll go through things and they remain dedicated to each other, they remain playful, they remain and loving, towards each other, because after a while it's work. And that's all a relationship is. Relationships are work. And sometimes it's a lot of work, sometimes it's a little work. I know sometimes you'll deal with someone who may lose sight of the fact that I still have to pursue this person I love. Excuse me, if it's a male or a female. Sometimes females will fall back like, "Oh, I still want flowers." And from the man's perspective, we're like, "Yo, you used to be like this, and now you have a totally different expectation that you don't have to work anymore, but you want me too. You still want these flowers like it was day one, but you're not putting in day one work like you used to." And so, and on the flip side, men, they want certain things from the women, like you used to cook, you used to do this, that would keep me happy, and it just changes. So it's a lot, it's a lot that comes into play when it comes to relationships and that level of happiness. What do you think?
Oh, so you saying that women should do all the cooking?
No, I didn't say that specifically. What I said was you used to cook, and then I kind of alluded to things that make a man happy. So yeah, I get what you try to draw out of me, but no, because relationships are, that's a team effort. So I think that if you cooking on Monday, I should be cooking on Tuesday, right? Nah, ain't no leftovers. Or that's Friday or Saturday. But I mean, again, it's a team effort. So one person can't drop the ball, or one person can't start to become lackadaisical in a relationship, because it's a domino effect. One Not one person can't continue to be the worker all the time. Both people have to put in an equal effort. Now, being realistic, will one person sometimes be that drop, that person giving uh, more than their fair share? Yeah, sometimes that does happen. But what corrects it is a conversation followed by action. If you're not getting that action, then it's only like you. It's up to you to continue to make the effort. But if the person isn't willing to give that effort back, then that's something else. Sometimes you do have those people like you're not making this effort, and from one person's perspective, they're like, I've been giving you 110% of me, and it's tiring because all you do is take. So you have those people also that they're not conditioned to give their half. They're conditioned to give their quarter. And so you have someone who, through the pursuit, they're like, well, I'm gonna go hard. I'm gonna give all of this. And the person gets used to being spoiled, as they sometimes say. Or a person not spoiled, but a person gets used to not giving it their all because the other person has been working very hard since day one. So that's another dynamic of relationships too, because not one person can't always give, go above and beyond and give extra when the other person is so used to or accommodated to taking, or so used to giving 25% and not half or that 50%. What do you think?
I think that I think that if we all have connection, if you don't lose focus on the connection with that person, like why did you start caring about that person?
Mm-hmm.
Why did you change your life or your routine, or just to reach out and be with someone different than where you was at? I think your life will be extremely better if you stay focused of where it began, not where it was.
I understand. But see, and then we kind of go into the conversation of intention, right? Because sometimes you do have that person just giving their representative. Sometimes you'll be in a relationship and you'll start off and you're like, this person is freaking amazing. And then slowly but surely, when that person starts to get used to you and the dynamic, they peel back layers of who they really are. How many times have we been with someone and like 6 months later, you're like, you are definitely not the person that I dated 6 months ago or 3 months ago. And so people sometimes will show another person a representative instead of their true self. And then once you start to get to know that person, you're like, you really aren't the person that I need to be dealing with. And, you know, 6 months, a year, 2 years later, you're just like, who is this person? Who am I dealing with? When you find out the truth of them and who they are and how they respond to you. Sometimes people will put on such a false pretense of themselves. What do you think about that dynamic?
I don't think people put on false pretense. I think sometimes people are nervous on to let people in. Like me myself, it takes a hard time to let someone in, especially when you done been through so much confusion and drama and people that did so much things to you. Like you, it's hard to let the person all be in, even though you're pulling for that person to be in. It's like you pulling that one thing, but you keeping a closed eye. But at the same time, you trying to reach out so they can really see you as you are, not what they want you to be, but who you really are.
But are you really giving that person all of you if you're like that? Can you really give a person all of Anika if part of Anika is being held back out of fear? Now, see, from my perspective, I mean, why you think of it? From my perspective, my answer is no. I mean, if I'm not giving you all of me, or if a part of me is afraid to give you all of me, and I'm hesitant, I have walls built up, and a lot of us go through this. This is very normal. If you're listening, if you're watching, please call us. The number is
443-602-8997.
and like just tell us examples of stuff you may have gone through, stuff you may have put others through. But I mean, I know I'm heavily guarded, given my past, given my past relationships. I mean, I may not have been the best person sometimes, and sometimes I have, and have been dealing with someone who didn't give me their best. And you try to move forward when it doesn't work out, and you know you want to give someone your all, but sometimes you may not be ready. And in the dating circuit, or while you're dating, sometimes it's stuff that, case in point, I met someone and we were dating briefly, and she was like, I've gone through all of this stuff and I'd like to be this person to give you my all, but given what I went through, I'm not quite ready to do that. And my response is, oh, we got a caller. All right. So caller, just be patient. We're trying to get you on.
Hello.
Hello?
Hey.
Hey.
Wait a minute.
Come on.
Hold on 1 second. Oh.
All right.
Okay, caller, we have a question for you. Are you
Question
listening?
for me?
Yeah, we have a question for you.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Dante?
Okay. Huh?
Dante.
Okay, we're speaking with Dante, and we had a question for you. Now, I don't know if you tuning into the show, but we are talking about relationships and how do you stick things out. Now, how do you make things better? And how far would you go to make a person happy? And can you give us a short thing as far as relationships that you have been in?
Say it one more time.
Can you give us a short story as far as any relationship that you have been in?
The last relationship I've been in probably was back in 11th grade. I ain't really got too much to say on that.
So you
I
haven't
got
been.
out.
So you haven't been in no relationships now in your older years.
Nah,
Hold on, Dante. How old are
I
you?
don't know. I haven't.
How old
Yeah.
are you, bro?
I'm 21.
20 exactly. And that's what I was saying. Like, I got you. I get it now. So let me ask you this, because you date you pretty much dating, right? You
Yeah.
kind of you kind of not playing the field, but you kind of seeing what who works best for you, right? If you want to call it that, right?
Yeah.
Why are you getting all quiet, sir?
Somebody else is on the line.
I'm not getting quiet at all. I'm talking.
So somebody else listening to you talk.
No, we good.
All right. All right. So with that being said, like have you ever come across someone who is just unwilling to give you her all, or like have you ever come across someone who is like not quite done playing the field?
I came across a couple people like that, but
Yeah.
that's something that my ex was. She was just like full of shit.
Uh-huh.
Basically she wanted to play the field. She wanted something serious, and then I guess it wasn't what she wanted. And she knows she turned around and cheated, shit like that. So I guess it ain't what she wanted, but
Yeah.
yeah, there are a couple females that wanted to play the field.
Right. And at that age, you know what's crazy, because when I was 18, 19, the same thing happened to me. And I mean, it took me some time to like really be able to open up and move forward from that. You know what I mean? So yeah, I get it. And a lot of guys get cheated on. It's interesting, but like a lot of dudes get cheated on. Women get cheated on too, don't get me wrong. But a lot of guys, you know, they go through that kind of thing, and it's, you know what I mean? I get it.
If you want my perspective, I think we get cheated more than we get cheated on more than anybody. I ain't
What?
saying that.
Uh-oh.
Hold up.
See, I wasn't going to say that, but you know.
Are you saying that women cheat more than men?
I'm saying females cheat when it's convenient for them.
Mm.
Males can do the same thing. But how often do you hear females going around saying, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go get mine," just like the city girls and shit like that. They go get theirs, right? They got fuck a nigga for a bag. They gotta do this. They gotta do that. But everything they're doing, they're doing what they need to do to get money.
Mm.
We out here doing what you do. We want to find love. This is different. But we still get done wrong.
Talk.
Females do what they need to do to be convenient. They get the bag.
You really something on the
Done,
head.
nails done. All that other shit.
I don't know what females you be talking to, but I make my own money. Nobody paid for my nails or my feet or my hair or anything like that. So
But
I don't hop and skip just to get a bag. So that's them hoochies out there.
But he did bring up something really interesting, because it's a culture now. Like he hit it on the head, the city girl culture. It's a lot of females who got sucked into thinking that was the way to operate. They thought that was cool.
Yeah, that's the millennium nowadays.
Exactly. And although
millennium.
Anika may not represent that, I've seen it where a lot of, and you look on social media, especially over the summertime. How many females did you see talking that city girl stuff? I mean, real talk. Like, have you, or like, let me ask you, have you ever seen that, Anika?
I have seen this.
Exactly.
But okay, I'm gonna make this real clear for everybody to know. I will rather have someone to meet me halfway. I will never leave no one holding the whole bag by themselves. That's one thing about me. You are not going to hold the whole bag by yourself. I will meet you halfway. If you paid gas last week, I'm going to put gas in your tank this week. Like it's a back and forth thing. I'm not going to do that.
And this is interesting. So Anika, let's kind of talk about another dynamic, because my brother Dante on the line, He's 21. So how many people who are like, let's say under 25, females, who play into that based on someone or of a female rapper that's popular based on that image? How many women who are like less under 25 try to play into that image because it's very alluring for a young female who may not have a lot to want to idolize that person and emulate them and try to act like them.
Well, I mean, I know there's a lot of females that do it, but everybody not the same. I mean, some people wasn't taught to
Exactly.
do better.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. I think that's what my brother's saying as well. Am I right, Dante?
Right. You can't. Okay, for her perspective, I understand what she's saying. Okay, there's not too many girls here that's gonna carry the same package as her. You know what I'm saying? So, by that being said, again, everybody's not going to have the same mindset as you. Everybody's mindset can just be on getting one thing, getting this thing, or creating a future. Your mindset is just creating on building something because you're grown and you got it all. But you don't depend on no man to do anything for you. You got your man back, do anything, do whatever. But again, there's females out here who just don't understand that.
Exactly.
Nobody is ever going to have the same mindset. You can't think other people think like you. Or why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Because they want to do what they want to do. That's the millennium.
And I think that like us being our age, I'm not going to say my age, but like we have a little, you know, like you said, that's the millennials. So, you know, we're like closer to the upper range of the millennials. So, you know, again, like we may see things differently from a person in their 20s now that we are, you know, a little older. But I mean, I totally get what you're saying. And I see it from time to time. And I'm not going through it because my age group is a little older than the 20 age group, but still, like, you see it, you know, you're still exposed to it. And you still see people who are in like their 30s and 40s still wanting to emulate that. Not a lot, but some, you know. And I think that's really interesting. I do appreciate you calling. Anything else you want to kind of, any other input you had on in the conversation?
No, pretty much it.
All
you know,
right.
I told my big sister I was going to check in this present information.
Well, we appreciate it. Thank you for calling in.
See you later, little brother.
All right, later.
Love you too.
But that, I mean, that was a very, very interesting perspective for someone of that age group.
Yeah, different ages, different things.
Exactly.
I mean, I get it. I see a lot of females on Facebook. Yeah, he gonna bring me this. He gonna bring me that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm. It's nice to get something from a guy, but I don't go looking for it.
Right.
Like it's like, okay, oh, he paid to get my nails done. That was nice of him. But I'm not gonna say I need you to get my hair done, my nails done. I need all the kids' clothes. I need this. I need that. I just like I want halfway. That's what I want. I would never like put somebody in perspective because first you don't even know what that person got going on.
Right.
And put them in a situation. It's just like, I don't know. I guess like you said, every female don't think the same. But I don't believe women cheat more than men.
But what if they do, or you just don't? I mean, are we blind to who really cheats more than who? Because so many times men get a reputation for being like that, but when you talk to counselors and things like that who work with marriages and stuff, like they do talk about a high rate or an increase in the rates of the females stepping out on the dudes. So I mean, like we really don't know the facts of it, but I mean that's an argument that can be made for like hours, you know. I mean, you know, but really, like we really don't know the answer to that. We really don't know who cheats more. I mean, but the thing about that is like I think that men probably get a bad rap because there are a lot of men who are faithful. Just like there are a lot of women who are. But like, who does it more? I don't know. Who does it better? I know that women.
That's not true.
Yeah, right.
That's not true.
That's why Miss Michelle back there laughing. She's like, yeah, we do. That's why she laughing in the back like that.
No.
I'm just joking, Miss Michelle. She said it's facts. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
All right, let's change the subject.
Let's change the subject.
Let's change the subject.
Oh man.
Like, something happening that I know.
We're gonna change the subject. What is your feelings on abusive relationships?
Oh, that's a really ugly and terrible thing. I think that with a lot of things that are set up to help people who are in abusive relationships, the numbers should have decreased. I went to a co-parenting class, right? And this was a counselor who said this, but she was like, who do you think suffers the most from domestic violence? She said men or women. And so the women instantly said women. And a lot of the guys were saying women too, but some guys were like kind of quiet. And so the counselor that worked for the state, she was like, the majority of cases that are reported are women cases. However, a lot of cases that don't get reported and get shut down are men. And she talked about how many times, like, she'll be counseling a couple or talking to an individual person, and a guy will call the police on a woman for beating him. And the police are like, man, you calling us for that? Or how many times? And, she said that. She said there were a lot of times where the police would deter a man from claiming abuse on a woman in front of the police. She also said that there were a lot of times where men would go forward with the process and then stop because people would try to make them feel like less of a man because a woman was beating on them. So the majority of cases that are reported and followed through with are women. That's a fact. But there are a whole lot of cases about women beating men that get dismissed. I mean, if you go to the courthouse, like, and I'm not gonna like say any names, like go into it, but I've seen it. How many times have we seen that woman where everybody's like, oh, she crazy. She beating on that man and he don't say nothing. How many times did she pull out something and hit him upside the head? We don't say nothing. I was watching something on World Star. This woman was beating the mess out of a guy. The guy was just trying to walk away. She was beating the mess out of him on the train in New York. And I'm like, if that was a man beating on a woman like that, you know how many people would jump on that man? Mm-hmm. But since it's a woman hitting on a man, it's different. And it's not people are laughing at it. People are finding that entertaining. It was another case it was on the New York train. An African-American woman sexually assaulted a Hispanic man. And she was pulling down his pants. Give me that thing. It was on the New York train. The guy's yelling help. And after a point, people started coming and trying to pull a lady off of him. But still, she got away, like, let's say that was a guy saying, I want some. A black man doing that to a woman of another race outside of, our African-American race. You know what they would do to that man? He would be under the jail or under dirt. You know what I mean? So I think that when it comes to domestic abuse, it's a terrible thing. But I think that it is a huge double standard that we all know and don't talk about.
Okay, I can agree with that. But I will say to the women out there, please keep your hands to yourself, because like, you're not really going to win fighting a man. Like, unless you got some extra power strength under your arm or something, some superwoman power that we don't know about, just keep your hands to yourself. Just go the other way, lock yourself in the bathroom, do what you gotta do. I seen something on YouTube where that couldn't even stop him. The girl locked herself in the bathroom, but she put something against the door, and she was telling the guy she didn't want to be with him no more.
Oh, I saw that.
And he bust through the bathroom door,
and then
shut it.
And then went crazy. He was like, "Rah!" Something like that.
I said, "Oh my goodness, how he bust through the door like that? That's nuts." And he was like so serious. So he's like, "So you don't want to be with me? You tell me you don't want to be with me?" And he like, she was just like, "I don't understand." Like, but it's best like just to get out the situation. When you see guys doing stupid, crazy, unnecessary mess, and especially when you got kids and it's around your kids, it's just best to like plan and get yourself out the situation, because nobody don't need all that stress, because you're not just abusing them physically, you're mentally messing yourself up, and you're mentally messing up your kids. And it's just an unhealthy relationship. True. It's toxic.
I've been in a situation where a woman tried to get me to fight her. I'm walking away, she's punching me in the back of the head, talking about hit me, and then telling me if I don't hit her back, I'm a what. Like, I'm not even a man because I choose to walk away. I mean, of course, after that it was over, but still, like, having to go through that, the trauma of that, and a lot of us men go through that. Many men have at least one woman who we dealt with, who if not was that bad, either verbally or emotionally abusive. Because let's go into that. Because although there are some women who won't hit a guy, but they will dehumanize a guy. They will emasculate a guy. You're not a man because you don't do this. And it could be like regular stuff. You know what I mean? You're less of a man because. How many of us guys have gone through that? How many women have seen a man go through that? How many women play on a man's inadequacies? How many men play on women's inadequacies? That's abuse to a degree. I've been in a situation where I've been down on my luck, called a bum. That's abuse by the woman that I just want to show love to. And all she wanted to do was give poison in return. That's very abusive. Been in another situation where emotionally, the constant breakups. No, I can't do this. Wow, what did I do? You ain't pay your bill. What? You know what I mean? Like, you breaking up with me over the BG&E bill? I'm gonna pay that next month. That's not worth breaking up over me over. Like, and I say that because I've been through that. I've been through emotional abuse. I've been through physical abuse. I've been through verbal abuse. I'm not going to say how recent, but I've been through that. I've been through going through a deep depression, and a woman that I'm with, me telling her, babe, I'm going through this depression. I'm going through XYZ. I'm trying to bring myself up. I'm sorry. And she's like, no, you on drugs. Now, if you know me, I don't do drugs. I'm in the military. We get drug tested regularly. But having not being sensitive enough to even hear and grasp what I'm saying, and you just automatically say you're on drugs because you
keep talking,
because you are down on your luck, because you are showing certain signs of being depressed instead of, it's just one of those things where a lot of people don't know how to be in a relationship. And a lot of people deal with certain demons that they've dealt with from the past, and they bring those into new situations, and they expose healthy and sometimes unhealthy people to just unhealthy behaviors in some way, shape, or form. Shutting down in order to get control. I learned in the military and in a relationship class that's a form of emotional abuse. To shut down in order to gain control instead of trying to talk.
Okay, but what if you shut down because you just tired of someone basically attacking you?
Then that's different. But what I just said was shutting down in order to manipulate control. Now, if you shut down because you want a person, because you're tired of being attacked, that's different, right? But you have a person who shuts down, like, I know if I be quiet, I'm gonna get him to do what I want him to do. So it kind of goes into a lot of different psychological factors. You know, like you said, I'm shutting down because I'm constantly being attacked and I just can't take it anymore. That's different. And actually, that's normal. You know what I mean? But everything going right and you just getting silent because you want somebody to cut the grass. You know what I mean? Like that's abusive. That's very manipulative. So it's different. Um, what are your thoughts on abuse and control?
Abuse. I have been in quite of many relationships where as though I was a victim, but I didn't stay a victim.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my say my advice or my words of wisdom about it: when you see it coming, go the other way. And I'm just saying, like physically, mentally, verbally, any shape or way or form, you have to put yourself in mind. Because some women, like even thick women, like, oh, well, that's all you gonna get in life, or you just gonna get. No, it's not true. It's other people out here that will love you for you and treat you way better than that person will treat you.
Mm-hmm.
You do not have to stick around for someone to mentally, physically, verbally assault you and treat you like you're beneath them.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in a relationship or when you're with that person, you should never make that person feel like you're beneath them.
I agree.
You're all on the same level. You know, if anything, that person should be helping you progress to make yourself better, push you to do better things in your life. You know, always show support to what you want to do or what you want to be or what you have going on. That's what a relationship is. That's supposed to be your best friend, your lover, your the person you call when you don't want to tell your girlfriend something. That's the person you hang out with because you just want to go buy a couple of things and well, I just wanted to spend some time with you. All right, I'll come along.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel a relationship should be.
Mm-hmm.
As far as what you said, the other thing, as far as mentally abusing someone, like I said, you don't know what you can do to them, especially if they're pregnant. A lot of females have been pregnant. I have been one, whereas though I was pregnant. Not gonna say the person's name, but I was just with my second child. I don't know why I thought I could beat him, but I tried. With my second child, and I got called every name in the book because I was sitting out there working and trying to do school, and I was trying to do this and I was trying to do that. But me not knowing what drugs or can really do to you, I didn't know that person was that messed up. Wow. Like I had to get myself out of the situation, and it just took a long time. And I didn't think that person can really pinch me or put me down to a certain point where as though I didn't know what was going on. Yeah. And I thank goodness, thank God I made it out of the situation. You know, I don't even tell them. I mean, some of them probably seen it, but I don't even tell them half my family what goes on with the relationships I've been in. I mean, they might know a little bit of something here and there, but they never like really physically see me
Yeah.
been in something unless it was like too death to his part, and then everybody come running. But half the time I kept things under the doors. But that person was really mentally messed up, and then he was sitting there doing drugs and didn't help him at all. And now he's still sitting there mentally messed up, and I just keep him away from my kids. That you know, but it takes a lot to get to a point where you gotta be tired and get away from the situation to make yourself better and not mess yourself up.
Right.
You know?
And I had a friend, Shayla. She said something very interesting. She posted something that said, you really have to unpack who a person is. You have to unpack their past, how they were raised, if they grew up with a mom and dad, how did dad treat mom? How did mom treat dad? What did they show that person how to treat someone in a relationship? Then you have to sort of unpack, if they weren't, how did they really treat their exes? How did they treat the mother figure? How did they treat their father figure? If they had one. If they didn't, who did they learn that from? Like one thing that I I didn't grow up with my dad. And it wasn't by choice. My dad was in prison most of my childhood. And so growing up, I always wanted to be, like J. Cole said, I always wanted to have a dad that was Uncle Phil from The Fresh Prince. And that is like my key father figure, because I didn't have my father growing up. And sometimes like I even find myself like, and not a lot of guys who didn't have a male role model will tell you this, but like sometimes I try to emulate that. And, you know, I try to be perfect. And in my pursuit of being that perfect father figure, that perfect man, like it's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to learn as you go. And you'll have people who you'll be in a relationship with who don't know any better, but they'll want with all of their being to be that perfect person to someone, but they just don't know how to quite yet. And you have to give them time to grow into that. But then there are other people who don't care at all. And they want to be as, how do I put this, manipulative as possible in order to continue to take what they ideally want to take. And then you have people who are great. You do have people who grew up with mom and dad in a healthy household and a healthy environment, and they're good to someone else. So I think like throughout that spectrum, like when it comes to you dealing with someone or you dating someone, you really have to unpack their history, their past, how they talk to, and from a man's perspective, women, if any women are watching this, really pay attention to how a man treats his mother, how a man talks to his mom. If he wasn't raised by mom, how he treats his grandmother, how he treats whatever female figure that was the motherly figure in his life, if it's a sister, whatever. Because 9 times out of 10, he's going to treat you in a variation of how he treated that woman. And I know that for females, that's the same thing. Now, growing up in our community and in our age group, a lot of females didn't have dad growing up. And I know you had the opportunity to have dad growing up, you know, but a lot of people didn't. A lot of women didn't. And paying attention to how a woman will treat her father figure, or if she didn't have a father figure, what a woman looks for in a man, because you do have those women who kind of seek that older male figure, and in their subconscious, I don't want to say, it's sort of like the Oedipus thing, where they deal with a man who is a little bit older, and a little bit more stable because deep down they want a relationship, they want a companion, but they also are seeking a figure that they wish they had in their father. And that happens a lot. And subconsciously it happens. And like it's sort of like the Oedipus complex. Yeah, but it's that's deep.
That is deep.
Yeah. And men too. Men will not grow up. I met a brother who didn't have his mother or his father growing up. And he had a good heart. And he would talk about not having his mom and dad and how all he wanted was his family. And he had, he had a couple of kids and he wasn't married, but that was his girlfriend. And, he was a good guy, good heart, but he was not perfect because he didn't know what a man and woman dynamic within a household should be. So he went and, he kind of learned the hard way. But nevertheless, he wasn't perfect, but he tried.
I think with the years coming, it's about to change. It's going to be something different. I'm hoping a lot of kids will begin to not be left in foster homes, and parents won't leave them at the door. If you're making kids, make sure you take care of them. Because everybody need that family member and that loved one or that mother or that father. We don't want to see more kids being left and hurt because they're not making the right decision out there because you left them. Or I think a lot of things should be a lot different this year, and hoping for the best.
Yeah, I actually agree. Um,
Veronica Fox, we just talked about that. You
Yeah.
just missed it.
Victoria. Yeah. So men. So like kind of. Yeah, we did actually talk about that and how. Um,
You're absolutely right about that too,
yeah,
though.
and she actually made mention to double standards on respect um, between mom and wife, and that's a very interesting thing to say because us as people, right? Let's kind of talk about people, men and women. Uh, Men may treat a woman differently. A woman that they're dating, a woman, their girlfriend, their wife, differently from how they treat their mom. And Victoria's actually right. Women may treat their man. They may have grown up with dad in the household, and they may treat their boyfriend, a guy they're dating, or husband different than how they treat their dads. And let's kind of go into that a little bit more and unpack that, right? Because we'll have to look at a person's history, and we'll look at the person's history when it comes to dating and who they choose to pick, right? So when it comes to trust, it takes a man to trust that woman enough to be vulnerable to that woman like he's vulnerable to his mother. It takes a woman to be vulnerable and to actually build trust with that man. And the thing is that sometimes with a marriage, right? I love this woman. With a courtship, I love my girlfriend. But due to certain things that has gone down, I realize that I may not be able to trust my girlfriend like I trust my mom. My girlfriend judges me. I feel like my mom doesn't. My wife judges me. My wife treats me a certain kind of way. I love her. I'm not leaving her, but I can't communicate with my wife like I can communicate with my mother. My wife treats me this way in return. My wife loves me. But what happens when my wife kind of goes nuclear because I didn't pick my drawers up off the ground? You know what I mean? But it's a very similar dynamic. My wife reacts this way. My mom used to react this way, but I'm treating my wife differently because of two things. And this is my thing. The relatability factor. A man doesn't know his wife as long as he knows his mother. And when it comes to that, a man may not trust his wife on the same level as he does his mom. A woman may not trust her husband the same way she does her dad. Dad took care of all of the bills. Dad was like that dude that Fantasia's married. My husband ain't. Because of that, I will talk to him differently. My mom used to cook, clean, do all of this. My mom was old school. My wife don't. And when I express myself, my wife comes at me this way. So I react.
Well, she'd be like this.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be like, but babe.
Yeah.
She'd be like,
so, I think that there is definitely a double standard between man and wife and man and mother. I think there's a double standard between woman and husband and woman and dad. From a woman's perspective, and I've known some really good fathers and women to say, my dad was the best dude I ever met. From a man's, how does your husband compare to that? And when he doesn't measure up to what dad was, because of course dad is going to be like the best thing since sliced bread, especially if a woman had a good dad. Of course she's going to treat her husband different from the way she treated her dad if her husband deep down doesn't really measure up to dad. If dad took care of everything, old school dad, paid all the bills and did all of that. Okay, so Victorious, do you feel that a man should make his wife or girlfriend jealous with that mother figure relationship? No, not at all. And that's actually not a good thing to do. It's not smart, but it happens. But it all depends on the kind of man, because certain guys, the mama's boys, they may not have that in them to really stand up to mom. Like, look, mom, you know what I mean? But I think that there is always a comparison with men and women. Yeah, and like you said, it goes both ways. I think that how can men deal with building the connection? When you say the connection, are you referring to the connection between with his wife, or?
I think everybody have a place.
I agree.
The mom have a place. The wife or girlfriend have a place. And I mean, like, you're not going to love your mom the same way you love her, and you're not going to love your wife or girlfriend the same way you love your mom. But it goes back to what you say, like, women should choose men that treat their mom well, and then you be able to find the right guy. Because a lot of these guys out here, they'll treat their mom so nasty, and you get with them, they're nice to you for a while, and then you find out later how they talk to that mother, and you're like, well, dang, if you talk to your mother like that, I wonder what you call me when I'm not around.
And trust me, that is actually, like, that happens. The vice versa with women too. You know, women, dad, I need this. Dad, give me this. They go into a relationship. They get married. Husband, I need this. Husband, give me this. And you like, yo, you're not even showing me love. You just, and it's a thing of respect, and it's another thing of like maturity, because if I have if I have enough respect for my mother, right, and I honor my mother, I'm gonna honor my wife. If I'm mature enough to be able to love my wife the way, and I'm a God fearing man. If I can love my wife the way the Bible describes loving my wife, if I can love my wife biblically the way that I'm supposed to, then I'm good. As well as showing honor and respect to my mom as well. And I think that it takes a special person to really identify that balance, because it is a balance. And I think that when a person tries to make their spouse or their mate jealous of the relationship with a parent, I think that that's the level of immaturity.
Yeah, it's like you going low blow
Mm-hmm.
for no
Yeah.
reason
Yeah.
whatsoever. Because at the same time, you still gotta go back home in the bed with her
Mm-hmm.
and your mother. Yeah, you get to go see your mom, but y'all not all in the same
Mm-hmm.
bed
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why I say it goes back to everybody should know that place.
Mm-hmm.
Your mother, gonna be here, and the wife gonna be there. But the
Mm-hmm.
wife at the same time should never ask the husband to choose,
Absolutely.
because that's his mom. So like,
Mm-hmm.
regardless, that's still his mother.
Right.
If you got the type of man you think you got, if it's something that's in a situation, he's gonna tell you, or he's gonna fix the problem. He's not gonna say, "Oh, mom, you're wrong." No, he's gonna take care of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't just ask him to choose. It's like there's
Right.
no
You
way
can't.
possible you can do
Yeah.
that.
And from a man's perspective, the purpose of finding a wife, or like one of the attributes of finding a wife, is to cleave to her, to create the family. And a lot of guys can do that healthy. Some guys can't. But the whole purpose of you having the wife is for you, and women too. The whole purpose of you having the husband is for you to let go of that parental figure and cleave to this person that you're with. You're engaged, you're thinking about getting engaged. You will begin to go through that cleaving process and becoming one with the person that you're with. So if there is a lack, if you are like, man, mom cooks better, mom does it, then you need to express something in a healthy and positive way so that you can elevate your household. You get what I'm saying? If my wife is a terrible cook, my mom is a great cook, I'm not going to throw that in my wife's face. I'm like, Ma, can I get your recipe book? Can you write down a couple of recipes? And me and my wife going to make it together. She's not even going to know. You get what I'm saying? And that's respect shown to everybody. So I'm not showing my wife, well, my mom cooks this way. This is how she cooked. Let me show you. I'm not disrespecting my wife in the process, but we're building. And that's the whole purpose of coming together and having, those dynamics. Like and with a woman, dad did this. Dad took me out on dates. Dad showed me this. And instead of throwing it in your man's face or making him feel like less of a man or even making him feel incompetent, babe, why don't we do this? Let's do this. Come on, babe, let's go. I'm gonna show you. Babe, I like flowers, and I like when you give me candy. And even if dad would bring flowers or whatever, and that's what she likes, babe, I like flowers once a week sometimes. Just doing it in a respectful way.
Okay, you guys, we're about to close out. It's been great talking to you.
Yeah.
We really appreciate you listening. And a shout out to Cornelius Adams. Mama's Kitchen will be
Mama's
coming
Kitchen.
out December the 21st. Please get your tickets. Inbox him. He's on my Facebook page.
They some talented people right
Yes,
there.
they are. They're
Very
awesome.
talented. And shout out to my buddy Dwayne Marshall Just wanted to give him a good shout out to J&J Armory LLC. My dude, you doing your thing. I'm proud of you. Another shout out to Almighty, good buddy of mine in my unit. I'm in the military. He's in a group. I just started listening to their music today. It is fire. So Almighty with 2 eyes. Check them out.
I also want to give a shout out to my artist, Lenore Duffy.
Shout out to Lenore.
He will be coming out with a mixtape soon as I could get his butt in the studio. And he's a great singer. I have him on one of my shows. If y'all go back some, y'all should be able to hear some of his voice, his lyrics, and he's amazing. But we're gonna close out. We're running a little bit behind. Thanks for listening. Anika tells all Worldwide Flavor Network. Good night.
Peace.
Stopped it.
Uh-oh.